Hello, thank you for stopping by. My name is Becky and this is BecxReadz, and today I am starting a video that will probably span quite a few weeks. I am on a mission to see if I can find my Booktube bookmate. I am going to see which booktuber of the ones that I subscribe to I have the most in common with, and they are going to be my bookmate. So I am going to spend the next quite a few weeks watching my fellow booktubers' top 10 or best books of 2023 videos, and I am going to give points to them, and when I am done with this, hopefully I will find that person who I have the most in common with this year. If I am watching a booktuber's top 10 or best books of the year video, and I have read a book that they mention, I'm going to give them 1 point. It doesn't matter if I liked it or not. As long as I read it this year and they included it on their top 10, they get a point. Now, if they mention a book that I have read and enjoyed this year, but it just didn't make my best books of the year video, I'm going to give them 2 points because I did enjoy it. And if they mention a book in their list that I also have on my list, I am going to give them 5 points because that means we have more in common. As of today, it is December 24th. I found time to make this video before I have to make dinner and whatnot. And I have watched quite a few videos already. So here are the standings as of right now. So some fellow booktubers who I didn't have anything in common with this year were Leandra the TBR0, Michaela Christine Reads, Gavin Reads It All, Raven Haired Reader, and Nerdy Nat Reads. I also watched Not So Average Joe's best books of the year, and she got 4 points because she mentioned in her video 2 books that I read and enjoyed this year, which were Flawless and Legends and Lattes. I also watched Jack and the Bookstack's best books of 2023, and she got 2 points. She mentioned in her video Murder Your Employer and In the Lives of Puppets. These are 2 books that I read this year. I didn't enjoy them, but I did read them. I'll be reading Romance's best books, and she got 2 points as well because she mentioned Flawless in her video, which again is one that I read and enjoyed. And this morning I watched Honest Fiction's best books of the year, and this was surprising. She got 6 points. She mentioned Fourth Wing, which is a book that I read this year, so she got 1 point for that. And she mentioned the Perfectly Imperfect series by Neva Altej, which matches one of my top selections as well. Jess and I often don't have similar tastes in books, and when we read the same books, our opinions on them vary, so it was quite surprising that she is in the lead so far. I will come back to you once I have watched another handful of Booktubers' best books of 2023 and see where we land then. I am back with an update for you. It is now December 31st, which is New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's, everybody. I hope you have a fun and safe night. But I've watched quite a few more best books videos, and I thought I would give you an update on where we're at in finding my Booktube bookmate. So I watched Happily Ever April's best books, and she ended up only getting 2 points. We both read A Ship of Bones and Teeth by Karina Halley this year, and I really liked that, so unfortunately I thought we would have more in common. April. Rainy Blue Reads, she ended up with 4 points. She also read A Ship of Bones and Teeth, as did I. She also read Brutal Prince and Fourth Wing, which gave her 1 point each. I did not like either of those, but I read them. Also coming in with 4 points was A Novel Life. She and I both read Butcher and Blackbird this year and really enjoyed them. She also read Forget Me Not and Fourth Wing, which I did not like, but 2 points. Some booktubers I didn't have anything in common with were Oh Hey It's McKay, Beth Joey, Ava's Romance Books, Lena's Bookshelf, Venus Escapes to Read, and Justin Reads Romance. Coming in with 8 points, moving her to the top of the leaderboard, is Amanda's Booktopia. She is somebody who I recently just subscribed to, so this was a surprise. She and I both had Twisted Love in our best books, which gave her 5 points. She and I also read One Dark Window and really enjoyed it, so that gave her 2 points, and she read Fourth Wing, so that gave her an additional 1 point. Coming in just below her at 7 points was The Book Leo. We both had The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches on our best books, which gave her 5 points, and then she got an additional 2 points because she had Slewfoot on her list, and I did read Slewfoot this year, and I enjoyed it. Coming in at 3 points was Capri's Book Island. She had Before I Let Go on her best books, and I did read that, and I loved it, so that gave her 2 points, and she got an additional 1 point for having Icebreaker on her list. I hated that book. but we both read it this year. And I watched Pardon This Book Addict's video today as well, and she came in at 6 points. She had the Mindfuck series, A Court of Mist and Fury, and Butcher and Blackbird on her best books, and I read all of those and really enjoyed them, so that was 2 points each. So this is the standing as of December 31st. I'm going to give it a few more weeks to see if any more trickle in, and we will see where the standing is next time I update you. It is time for an update. It is now January 2nd, and I've watched a few more videos, so let's see where the standings lay now. I watched Covers with Cassidy's best books, and she got 1 point because she read Fourth Wing this year, and so did I. I also watched Christy Reads a Lot, and she got 2 points for having Between Wrath and Mercy on her best books, and I loved that book. It just missed out on my top books, but it is one that I enjoyed. I watched Lizelle Loves Books, and she and I didn't have anything in common. And I watched All I Do Is Read, and she got 1 point because we both read Forget Me Not this year. I hated it, she loved it, but we had that in common. And that is where the rankings currently stand. I will be back to share with you some more as soon as I watch some. It is now at January 5th, and I've watched many more Best Books of the Year videos, so let's see how the standings are now. I watched Into the Nook's best books, and she ended up with 6 points because she had The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches on her best books, and so did I. She also read Babel this year, and I also read it. I didn't like it, but I did read it. Sam Reads a Little and Crystal's Bookish Life, we both had 0 in common as far as our best books of the year goes. Now here's a surprising one. G Swizzle. She got 8 points. And it wasn't because we had similar books in common on our best, it's that we enjoyed a lot of the same books this year. She had A Kingdom of Stars and Shadows, Forged by Magic, and A Soul to Keep on her best books, and I enjoyed all of those. She also had Fourth Wing and Belladonna, which are 2 books that I read. I didn't really like them, but I read them. Victoria's Romance Reads got 3 points. She had the Mindfuck series on her best books, and I really enjoyed that series. And she also had Fourth Wing on her list as well. Rachel Reads and Sings got 2 points. She had Belladonna and In the Lives of Puppets on her best books. I read both of these. I didn't particularly like them, but I did read them. Now here is where the tides turn. Kaylani Simply Me. Girl got 19 points. And while I feel like Kaylani and I read pretty similarly across the board, I didn't think we read that similarly. But turns out we had a lot in common. So she had The Kingmaker duology by Kennedy Ryan on her list, which was also on my list, so immediately 5 points for that. She had Before I Let Go, which is one I enjoyed, so 2 points for that. She also had Flawless and Butcher and Blackbird, so 2 extra points for each of those. She had Under the Whispering Door, which I also enjoyed. She had Twisted Lies and Twisted Hate, which is ironic because I read those and I liked them, so 2 points each. But had she had the first 2 books on her list, that would have been 5 points each because those were on my list. I didn't love the latter 2 books as much as I liked the first 2, but hey, I enjoyed them, so 2 points. And then she also had In the Lives of Puppets and Fourth Wing, which again, I read and I didn't particularly like. So amazing, Kaylani. I did not realize we had so much in common. And another big contender was A Book Circus. She ended up with 12 points. She had The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches on her, so 5 points for that. She also read Legends and Lattes, Slewfoot, and One for My Enemy, which I read and enjoyed, so 2 points for each of those. And she also included Fourth Wing on her list, which again, I didn't like, but I read, so a point for that. So here are the standings. As of now, we have a new top leader on the hunt to find my Booktube bookmate. I will be back once I have watched a few more best videos and update you on the standings then. It is now January 7th. I watched a handful more videos. Hello Bookworm, Gloria Z. Thompson, Alexandra Roslin, and Amber Reads Romance. I didn't have anything in common with any of them as far as best reads go. I also watched the Book Refuge best books, and she got 1 point because she mentioned Fourth Wing in her video, and I also read Fourth Wing this year. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this at the beginning of this video, but I have been waiting for Kristen Crave's books, best books, because I feel like she and I would have had the most in common because we do have very similar reading tastes. We buddy read things throughout the year. So I thought for sure she would rack up a lot of points and be high on the list. Much to my surprise and shock, she and I didn't have anything in common as far as best books go this year. She did include on her list my favorite book of all time, which I was so happy to see. However, I did not reread my favorite book, so I couldn't give her any points for that. So Kristen, I'm so shocked that we didn't have anything in common. So this is the standing as of right now. Kaylani is still top of the chart. It is now January 15th and I have watched as many best book videos as I have been able to find, and this is the final score. I watched Hannah Blackwell's best books. She ended up with 5 points because she also included The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches on hers, and I loved that. It was also on my list. I watched Keisha Reed's Romance, and she ended up with 6 points. She had Broken Whispers or The Perfectly Imperfect series as a whole on her list, which was also on mine, so 5 points for that. And she got an additional 1 point for including Fourth Wing, which I also read. Katie's Book Nook got 1 point for including Fourth Wing on her list. Jody also got 1 point for including Fourth Wing on her list. Cuddy's Bookshelf got 3 points. She included Legends and Lattes, which again is one that I read and enjoyed, but it just missed out on my top list. And she included Fourth Wing. Wicked Reading got 2 points for having the Mindfuck series on her list. Rescues and Reads got 4 points for having The Starling House and The Unmaking of June Farrow on her list. I read both of those and really enjoyed them this year. Peace Love Books got 2 points for having Forget Me Not and Fourth Wing on her top list. And Tiff Talks Pages got 1 point for having This Could Be Us on her list. So here are the final standings on the search to finding my Booktube bookmate. Congratulations, Kaylani. You are my bookmate. Girl, I'm gonna have to send you something to commemorate this massive achievement. I love Kaylani. Kaylani has great recommendations, and I've been watching Kaylani for years. So if I had to have a bookmate, I'm glad it's somebody who I've been following for a really long time, who I've grown an online friendship with. So yay, Kaylani. You and I, girl, we're bookmates. What does that mean? Am I going to read a book that was on Kaylani's list that I haven't read? Potentially, maybe. It's not the goal. I was just on the hunt to see who I could find who had the most in common with me. Now, if I missed your video, I am so sorry. That doesn't mean I'm not subscribed to your channel. It either means that somewhere along the way I missed it, especially if it was uploaded between Christmas and New Year's. I tried to catch as many as I could, but I am subscribed to a lot of booktubers, so it could have slipped by me. But of the ones I did include, I will have all of their channels tagged down below. I'm sure they're going to love me for it. But maybe you could go and you could find a booktuber who you aren't subscribed to. But with that, let me know down in the comments who is a booktuber who you go to for the best recommendations. But if you don't want to comment that but would like to let me know that you made it to the end of this video, could you leave me this emoji? Thank you so much for watching, and until my next video, go find a new booktuber to subscribe to. Bye!